Hello there, everyone. You know who I am, E.T. Templar, Supreme Misfit, Professional Dipshit, and I, too, am gonna get in on this Acolyte hating. So, my opinion simply is this. It's an old song, it's an old adage that goes, if it smells like shit, if it looks like shit, if it has a texture of shit, it's more than likely shit. And so, out the gate, Acolyte came out and it preloaded the show before even coming out saying, oh, critics and white men are gonna hate this nerds. It's not your dad's or granddad's Star Wars, right? So if you're gonna already like preload that message before it even comes out, that's the smelling of this shit. And we can smell it. And of course, the seeing of the shit is this right here. This is Leslie Headland, the creator of Acolyte. So a woman who's going after the racism and misogyny is assistant to Harvey Weinstein. The guy who had a woman gobble his knob and he would fuck them for roles in his movies, and this goes probably men and women both. We're the misogynists. We're the ones who hate women when she was an assistant to the guy who literally traded sex for roles for movies. So you can see why I'm not going to see fucking Acolyte. Not only that, why would I pay any amount of money to, quite literally, that satanic rat fuck, Disney? Like, I'm not going to support Disney. And of course, me even saying that is like damn near impossible because Disney owns everything. So me even saying that's kind of a hypocritical thing, but my take is I don't need to see this because these people have deemed the expanded universe, Mara Jade Walker, Cade Skywalker, and all the graphic novels, the books, they've already said, they've retconned all that canon and says it doesn't exist. Which, by the way, right here, it exists, and that universe is far better than the giant piece of shit Disney and you guys have made. Bigger than the piece of shit Leslie Headland here has made with Star Wars. And of course, the funniest things, there's the power one, power two, power of many, like lesbianic, like impregnation chanting song, like the scene. So again, I don't need to spend any money. And of course, one thing I will say, the people complaining about the lore stuff about Acolyte, I find funny because why should you care? This is a dead, quite literally, like, pardon the expression here, dead and gay, like, universe, the modern version of it anyway. But for the rest of us, the OG Star Wars fans, will always have a special place in our heart. And even the prequels, 1, 2, and 3, as bad as those were, they weren't as bad as the shit we've seen now. And it's just bad. The Disney Star Wars is absolute shit. Rogue and Mandalorian were like mid-tier, I'm gonna say. Mandalorian's mid-tier, and people are gonna get mad at that, but as far as Acolyte goes, if it smells like shit, looks like shit, has the texture of shit, it's shit. And it's gonna be a quicker video here because there's no other reason to get into the fire in space, the power 1, power 2, power many, or any other lore issues. It's garbage. It's trash. And, to get bogged down to do 30 and 40-minute videos, that is honestly wasting your guys' time, because to the real OG Star Wars fans out there, we know this is shit. We know the newer Star Wars is like absolute like dog shit. So that's just my humble opinion. And again, this woman here, Leslie Headland, pictured with Harvey Weinstein, a guy who's abused and sexually abused women for roles in movies. Somehow we're the misogynists and we hate women and we're the racists. But the funny thing about this is they can front load it with all the DEI horse shit they want, right? And pack it with all the representation. It's not going to succeed because your product is shit. Smells like shit, looks like shit, has a texture of shit. And if you keep being aggressive against its main fan base, fat nerds, fat white nerds like me, we're going to go somewhere else. And we're not going to support your shit. I mean, it's amazing how these people think, oh, why is our stuff failing? Why is he getting bad ratings? Why is he being review bombed? It's because you're being openly aggressive and oppressive against the main fan base that liked it. Now, of course, there's women who like Star Wars too, and like the OG, Star Wars fans that are women. Okay. But yeah, it's dog shit. And I don't need to pay money to Disney, a mega corporation, and that demonic rat fuck to have someone smear shit on my face. You know, if I wanted to like be accosted and have shit pushed in my face and rubbed in my eyeballs, I could go right now and shit in the toilet and rub my own shit. Anyways, you get the point. Grade A tier trash, and that's my humble opinion on it. Will Acolyte season 2, 3, or 4 be any good if it survives past season 1? Highly doubt it, because again, if you're just gonna keep front loading it and keep pandering to that 1%, or like 3 or 4% of society, it's not gonna succeed. And in closing, the whole shit about racism and misogyny, right, is kind of a weird thing to go, because if you look at the original series, there's Lando Calrissian, fucking badass, right? You have the Feds, right? They're not they kind of look a little bit mulatto, Mexican, Greek, you know, to me. But it's weird in a universe that people would even use this to slight their OG fans, when you have a race of aliens that are a warrior culture like the Mandalorians. You have the Chiss that are badass. You have robots. You have General Grievous. And these are people who all watch the original series and the prequels with no issues whatsoever. But you see, in this world, the biggest tool that these people can use against the OG fans is racism and misogyny. That's the only mallet that they can try and hit the fans with. But in reality, we all know that the OG fans are not all misogynist, racist, and that we don't all hate gays or transgenders or whatever. We just want a good, cool, you know, sci-fi series. And not only that, the biggest issue with all the lightsabers, that was the secret sauce. Again, I'm not the only one that says the Force, it was secret sauce. It's better not explained, because that was the magic. That was the mystique to it. And when you take that away, it's trash. And of course, when you have, you know, lightsaber shit like every 10 seconds, that takes away from the legitimacy and the very real world like consequences of like the lightsaber combat, and it just takes away. But then again, these are the people behind the show are just DEI brainwashed, college educated like dipshits with mental health like issues. And of course, they're not happy unless they're totally destroying everyone's fan base's joys and what they love. And of course, this will go kind of into another discussion that's unintended, but that's what they want to do with religion now, too. If you believe a certain way, then they want to say it's anti-Semitic or like homophobic, which that'll be the next thing they'll go after next. You think Star Wars and your favorite TV shows and video games is the last target? No, if you're a religious person, that's the next target after they rape, bury, and shit on your favorite sci-fi series, books, and video games. They're coming after religion next. So be prepared for that one. We're going to get a DEI Jesus show. How about that, huh? We're going to take the heresy up a notch. But yeah, in closing, try and hit that 10-minute sweet algorithm stuff. So if you watch this long of me rant about literal just piece of shit, thank you, you're awesome. And yeah, that's what the Acolyte is. And when she's, you know, been an assistant to Harvey Weinstein, she can't really talk and she can't really judge us fat white virgin nerds when they purposely like shit on and ruin our favorite series. And it's even with their own DEI, they failed to do anything with Finn. And I'm not the only one that's saying this. Finn deserved to have a Jedi like arc, because there's a point where he has a lightsaber. That would have been fucking cool. And again, at the end of the day, most Star Wars fans don't give a shit about the like real DEI stuff. We just want an entertaining, fun series that doesn't betray the original lore, that doesn't betray and shit on the previous source material. That's it. But to these people and to the people behind this, the DEI, the woke crowd, and Lisa Headland here, they've got such the bad, you know, mind virus and brain worms that everything has to be about those topics. And that's why they're going to continue failing. That's why Disney's going to continue putting out dog turd after dog turd after dog turd that no one's going to see. So if I had some advice to give to the CEO of Disney, why don't you just make some good content based on storyline, premise, and the source material? You have literally tons of shit to work with here. You have Knights of the Old Republic. If you were to make an Old Republic like Amazon or even Disney Plus show, and you were just to stick with the source material, you would be making enough money that would make Midas, King Midas, look like a fucking homeless bum on the San Francisco sidewalk. And the only thing you would need to do is fire up and play some of the Knights of the Old Republic, right? Or get some of your nerds and craft a show off that, and you would be swimming in enough money to drown in. But then again, the CEO of Disney is a fucking idiot. The people, the writers and creators behind Acolyte and these other shows are fucking stupid because they got the liberal mind virus, and that's the only thing they can focus on. It's like, if you want to make money, set aside your DEI woke bullshit and just make good shit, because people are willing to set aside personal beefs, biases, and even racism or misogyny if it's some good shit to watch. That's the secret. But then again, the people behind this shit are so fucking brain dead. They couldn't produce a good show if there was a gun to their head. Too bad. Alright, anyways, 11 minutes of me ranting about shit. Literally. Anyways, take it easy, Godspeed. There's a description down below if you want to support this channel that way. But you donating your watch time, maybe a like or a comment down below is enough as well. Thank you. Have a good one. Don't watch Acolyte. Don't feed that demonic rat any money just to see dog shit. Because you can go outside and step in dog shit. Or you can shit in the toilet and they're like, oh, shit, and not have to pay for it. Anyways, have a good one.